Sometimes I get some really cool cars in here. Outside of the really cool cars that come through here, I get some really cool cars that come through here. Shout out Stephanie. We got a Figaro in the house. Miss Stephanie sent Miss Rachel here to get her Figaro worked on. Yeah, woo, Figaro. And what's really cool is this car actually comes from, for those that know, Daniel's father, who runs a car import place here in Florida. He's based in Oldsmar. He's been doing this for years now. He's actually the one that our Acti came from. Doing great. Check him out. Nissan Figaro. The hell is this? Alright, super old, super rare car. It's got a turbo 3-cylinder. How you doing? Word from the owner, it is not fast. It's actually dangerously slow. And but it does run. So anyway, why is it here? It's here for, look at the compression ratio is 8. Oh my gosh, max power 76 PS at 6,000. Oh, it's not even a liter. It's a, oh, I guess it is a 1 liter, 987. Goodness. Oh, it's a 4-cylinder, not a 3. What the hell is the 4th cylinder? Oh, there it is. It's under the charge pipe. Anyway, why is it here? Tune-up. She just got it. She wants to do a little tune-up. So she bought a bunch of stuff from the UK. What do we got? Air filter, oil filter, drive belts, fuel filter, spark plugs, brake pads, oil, timing belt and tensioner. We're not doing that. But I am going to peel back the timing cover to see what the condition of the timing belt is. So it has 139,000 kilometers on it. And the engine bay overall is in excellent, excellent, excellent shape. But it is still old. So we're going to peel this back and see if the timing belt is dry rot or whatever. So we're going to start with the easy stuff. So we're going to do the air filter, the oil change, the spark plugs, and the belts. She got the brake pads because she's not sure if she needs them. When I drove the car last night, I can hear it squeak, 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 squeak when you slowly press the pedal when it's moving at a low speed. So she may or may not need pads, but she might need rotors. So we're going to take the wheels off and we're going to check that out. The easiest part out first is the air filter. 4 screws and this little clamp here to slide this out. I don't want to pull the whole snorkel out. Pull it out. This is all metal, which is really nice. And fortunately, the air filter is not that bad. It's actually in pretty good shape. I wouldn't replace this, but she bought it, so we're gonna put the new one in, and it is what it is. We are under the Pao. It is really nice under here, everywhere. Very clean underbody. Pinch welds are perfect, as they should be. Body is perfect. I mean, really clean, I should say. Everything under here, excellent condition. And what's cool is the drain plug faces straight down. How cool is that? Yeah, it looks good. Looks fine. I mean, through the light, you can't really tell on camera, but through the light, it's still got some clarity to it, and it doesn't stink. So all of these things are important. But oil change is good. The oil filter is in a crappy spot, like some old Hondas, like, I don't know, your typical B series. It's tucked all the way in the back, so I'm gonna have to reach up over this, crack it loose, and then let it make a huge mess on the way down. Pulling the spark plugs out, I poured the oil in. Apparently the capacity is just under 3 quarts, so that's what I did. I put 2.5 in actually. So we're pulling the spark plugs out. So that's what we were working with in there. They don't look great, and they are kind of difficult to get to. So the first 3 spark plugs, which were the easiest to get to, they're all iridiums, and they're all in accessible locations there. This 4th one, not only was the boot super hard to get off, but it's just a regular plain old NGK. And the reason for that is you can see that the head bolt is right there, right? When you try to put the socket on, the head bolt is so tall that the angle of the spark plug doesn't allow for the socket to go past it. So the wall of the socket will actually hit the head of the head bolt before it reaches the base of the spark plug. It's annoying because it's a 13/16, yeah, it's a 13/16, which is huge. And of course the spark plug is deep, so it has to be a pass-through. Or I mean, it has to be a deep socket. So the only solution I can think of, because my sockets are super thin. It's not like, oh, you're using a thin wall socket. No, my sockets are super thin. So the only solution I can think of is to take the Dremel to the head bolt and shave it down at an angle so that it allows a clean passage for the socket to go through, which is annoying. Super annoying. But it explains why that fourth spark plug is in the condition that it's in. The plug boot was not impossible, obviously I got it off, but crazy hard to get off compared to the other three. And of course this one is an NGK, which means it hasn't been changed. So for the life of those, that plug hasn't been changed, so who knows how long it's been in there. This is real annoying, but it's part of the job, so I'm gonna be the one to fix it and do it right. All right, I pulled the intake off so I can get the Dremel in there, but notice you can get like a way better look at the situation now with the thing off. So there it is, that's the problem. So the socket is hitting the head of the bolt. So that little section of the bolt, it doesn't matter what angle you wiggle it or even if you force it in, it doesn't go. So that little section of the bolt needs to be trimmed. It doesn't look like it's going to compromise being able to remove that bolt if a head gasket ever needed to be done. I'm just taking off the uppermost section of it at a slant at that. So it's a 12-point socket that goes on there. 11 and a half of those points are still going to contact fully, so it'll be all right. But yeah, just that tiny little bit needs to be dremeled off. Victory, I got it out. So you can see these are the three, and then here's the fourth. So fairly common on Subarus, some 6-cylinder ones. They'll replace the easy ones. And same thing on the Z32, also fairly similar. Cylinder 6 and 5 will have different spark plugs than 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just because they're hard to get to. You know, and people they don't want to do it. So here we are. Got the fourth one out. And you can see how much I had to take off of the head bolt. And I took off the absolute minimum amount. In fact, I took off so little, I had to pretty much hammer the socket in. And even when the socket was in, I had to spin it to get it to go down the rest of the way to catch the thing. And then in taking it out, I had to pry it out effectively. So I took off the absolute minimum amount. And you can see, yeah, you can kind of see the slope on it. The slope on the head bolt there. Also, just a side note, this was an exorbitant amount of effort to get a spark plug out. Quite a bit, actually. And although the car came here with the agreement that I was going to do the spark plugs, it wasn't part of it for me to do all this extra work. So I called the customer first and explained the situation and asked what they wanted to do. They were fully within their right to say, no, just leave it. I don't want to pay the additional amount. So on and so forth. So this is how shops are supposed to do things. You're not supposed to make decisions for the customer, especially when it comes to stuff like this. You have to ask. You have to ask first. So that's what I did, and that's what we do. Expect kind of service that you could expect if you bring your car here. We're not just going to spend your money for you and say, oh, well, you know, and then now you have this crazy bill. So keep that in mind the next shop you go to. 4 new spark plugs are installed. 1, 2, 3, 4, take my word for it. Put anti-seize on the threads, as I always do, and because of the difficulty of taking the boots off, I pumped them with some dielectric grease, so it'll be easier to take off next time. Should there be a next time, I'm sure these spark plugs will last a great long while, considering the driving habits of this individual. So, quick note, completely forgot to mention. So, when the car was dropped off, it was parked outside, and at the end of the night, I brought it in, and when trying to start it, it cranked for a really long time, and then when it finally caught, it wanted to die. So I had to crank it again, and I had to use the throttle to get it to start. And when it did start, it didn't want to idle on its own, so you had to throttle it to keep it moving. Found the potential reason for that is the 3 spark plugs that were the same, the original ones, all 3 of them were loose. Boom. And then plug wire number 3 wasn't even fully installed. It was just resting on top of the spark plug. So fairly confident now that all 4 plugs are brand new and all 4 plug wires will be fully installed. I have a feeling that problem is going to go away. Hopefully. So we'll see. Oh, also, these spark plugs are a 13/16 or a 21 millimeter. Oh no, 3/4, sorry, 3/4. No, 13, whatever, I don't know. 21 mil is how big these spark plugs are, okay? These are the wrong spark plugs for this car, because the new ones are a normal size, which is this for the spark plug socket here, which is a 5/8. So obviously those went in perfectly smooth, and the socket is obviously way smaller. So those spark plugs, they're correct, but they're also wrong. So this one is a BPR 6ES, and the new one is a BCPR 6ES 11. So same spark plug, but different. And that one letter makes all the difference. Fuel filter is out. I have not drained it yet, so we don't know what color the liquid is that's going to come out. Kind of straightforward, a little bit annoying because all the hardware down there, it's all screws. Not a single bolt. It's all screws. So aggravating as hell. But with some ingenuity and some logical thinking, oh, there it is. Some logical thinking, I was able to get it out. Now let's see what color the gas is inside of this thing. Or lack thereof. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. Alright, so it is clear, which is good. It does say Jex on it, so there's a good chance that this could be the original one. But high quality fuel, well-maintained car, so you know it's not straw colored or black like some of the fuel filters I pull off. A brand I've never heard of called Blueprint. She said all this stuff came from the UK. So I guess that's probably why. Compared to that Jex one, this feels fake. So there's virtually no weight to this whatsoever. And the other one feels hefty, as if it's not a display model. But it's fine. You know, I'm sure these are quality parts. Just because I never heard of them doesn't mean anything. So go ahead and put this in. I'm going to write the date on it. Put it in. Fuel filter will be done. I checked the belts. The belts don't need to be changed. The ones that are in there have been changed fairly recently, so everybody gets to save some time and she gets to save some money, so good deal. But after the filter's back in, we're going to snatch one of these wheels off because according to the brake pads that she got, the rear and front brake pads are apparently the exact same. So we only need to take one wheel off, which will be the one that's missing the hubcap, and we're going to check to see if the brake pads need to be replaced. The reservoir would indicate that they do because the fluid level is a little bit low, and for those that don't know, your brake fluid level is an indication of your pad life. Go look it up. So I just checked it, and the rear is drum, not disc, and the front pads, which I can't show you on camera because of the angle, but the front pads are nice and beefy. So the low level could be from the shoes in the rear, or it could, I don't know, maybe they did something and it's just low. I don't know, but the front pads are beefy. But the rotors are not great. So you can see they are very rusty without taking the wheel off, but you can see the outer edge of it is bad. And you get a better angle over here. Yeah, the outer edge of it is bad, so that's where all the squeaking is coming from. It's just really crappy rotors. So she could use some rotors. And then of course this drum here in the rear. You can see. All four of these shocks are blown, which is super cool. When I put the car on the ground, I'll show you, but they're visibly leaking. You can see all of that. And the steering rack is not ideal. So it is soggy kind of everywhere. No idea really where it's coming from. That would be for another day. But we're all done with the POW. That's everything. Brake pads are going to go back in the box with everything else. Oh, I forgot to check the timing belt. If you peel this back, that's the timing belt there. You see all those lines? Those are all ridges. Rule of thumb, if you can see very pronounced lines like that on the back side of the belt's old. It needs to be replaced. Yeah, that's going to be the end of that. So, we did some Nissan POW stuff. That was pretty cool. Got to work on one of these. Most people have never even seen these. Most people don't even know these cars exist. And I got to do this with one of them. So, pretty cool. Very excited. Appreciate the referral. Cars like this is cool. People that listen to other people who say, hey, go here, that's also really cool. So thank you guys. Everybody who's ever sent a referral, top dog. Appreciate it. All right, Full Detail Automotive. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow for more content. Check out the Instagram. That's where really everything is at. Obviously, you see YouTube is super dry, so don't rely on it. But I'll see you guys in the next one. If you have any questions, leave them below. Maybe I'll answer them. I'll answer them. Alright, see you guys later.